So in module 3, we have two lessons. These are, the first is radicals and rational exponents, and then the other one is rational expressions. So for radicals and rational exponents in this lesson, you'll be able to learn the properties of radicals. So maganda siya, what are those properties? And then simplify and combine radicals, like yung mga operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So simplify. Then rationalize denominators and numerators, because some problems require you to eliminate radical signs either in the numerator or in the denominator. Then finally, you'll be able to use the properties of rational exponents. Kasi dalawa to, radicals and rational exponents, they come all together. Like you can convert radical expressions into rational expressions, rational exponents, and vice versa. They are almost close or related to each other. So let's start with the properties of radicals. The first property is we have the nth root. So kapag sinasabing nth root, n indicates the index. So let's say nth root. So it is written in this way, nth root. Then you're going to draw this square root sign. So para siyang division, pero meron siyang parang ano dito, parang taliw-tiw sa Bisaya. So nth root of a number, let's say we have a number a, raised to the power of m. So balik muna tayo sa mga parts ng radicals. So this n here is your index. So yan yung index natin. Okay, may nag-join. That is our index. So take note ha. N is our index. Then a here is the number, or the radicand. Or the radicand. Then how about m? So m is the, of course, exponent of our radicand. So yung m natin dito, m is the exponent. So exponent of the radicand. And for the first rule, so di ba parts pa lang yan. So jump up na tayo sa first rule. Ano bang first rule natin? So we have here the nth root of a certain number. So we have here the nth root of a certain number a is equal to, so we have two conditions or two situation here, because a here can be, n here, so yung index natin, meron siyang possible na forma. It could be odd or even. So n could be odd. So pwede siya odd, yung hindi siya divisible by 2, or even or divisible by 2. So the answer for here has two outcomes. The first outcome can be positive or negative b. So ito yung answer niya, positive or negative b, such that if we take the exponent of b, let's say b to the power of something, let's say b raised to the power of n pala, kasi yung index natin is n. So when we take b to the power of n, wait lang ha, may nag-join. If we take b to the power of n, the resulting answer would be a. So either positive to or negative, magre-result siya sa a. But in this condition, wait lang ha, may nag-join. But in this condition, your n, so your n here, n must be even. Bakit po? Bakit? Kasi let's say we have here the square root. Example lang ha. square root of 4. What is the value of square root of 4? We have plus minus 2, either positive 2 or negative 2. Why? Because if we square positive 2, the resulting answer or number is positive 4. How about if we square a negative 2? The resulting answer is still positive 4. So that's why for even index, so n, kapag even to siya, yung answer mo talaga is either positive or negative of a certain number. And it should be, it is not always perfect square. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon na yung a natin dito is a perfect square. Kasi meron pa rin tayong square root of a certain number, pero irrational siya. In this case, yung binigay ko lang is a perfect square number, which is 4. Then, the second condition, since, di ba, yung first condition natin is the answer is either positive or negative of a number. But, the second condition is just, it is positive only or negative only. In what case, class? If n dito is odd. So, di ba, see the difference? Kapag odd siya, hindi dalawa yung answer mo. Unlike sa first natin na condition. Kasi kapag odd, it can only be positive or negative. Now, to visualize this, let's say we have cube root. Di ba? 3 is an odd number. So, 3 here is our index. So, cube root of 8. What is cube root of 8? If you have calculator, that will result to positive 2. Kasi if we do the reverse, 2 raised to the power of 3, the resulting answer is 8. How about cube root of negative 8? So let's see. Cube root of negative 8 is equals to negative 2. Bakit hindi pwede yung positive 2? So titingnan natin. Kasi kapag i-cube mo yung negative 2 cube, it will be written in this way, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. And we all know that a negative 2 times negative 2 will result to positive 4. And 4 times negative 2 will result to negative 8. Therefore, the nth root of a certain number, wherein n is an odd number, it has only one result. It could be positive of a number or negative of a number. So take note, class, for our first rule. Kapag odd lang, class, isa lang yung result natin. Kapag even yung index natin, so take note, yung index natin is located here, yung n. Kapag even talaga siya, class, expect that there are two roots or two answers. It will be positive and negative of a certain number. So let's go to the next rule. So erase muna natin to. So let's go to the next rule. So for our next rule, we have here second rule. The nth root, sabi dito, the nth root of a certain number a raised to the power of m, so m here is the exponent, is just equal to the nth root of a raised to the power of m. So in this case, parang ini-extract mo lang yung exponent mo sa loob. But we can verify this if we convert it into rational exponents. Kasi parang ma-visualize mo kapag naka-rational exponent siya. So, in advance na lang kasi don't worry, later we will tackle that one too. So, para ma-advance na lang yung information nyo regarding this, so if we convert this into rational exponents, it will look like this. We have a, diba? Remember from my previous discussion sa module 2. So, we have here m over n. Diba, sinasabi ko sa inyo, kapag maka-convert ka from radical to rational exponents, yung numerator mo dito is magiging exponent mo sa radical mo o sa number mo. And then, your denominator would serve as your index of your radical. So, here, a raised to the power of m over n we can just extract m. So we have here a raised to the power of 1 over n, then m. So remember the multiplication rule of exponents. Like this one can be reversed or can be resolved in this form. You just multiply 1 over n times m. So ganun lang. Then if we convert it back to radical form, so note that a raised to 1 over n is just simply equal to the nth root of a. Kasi yung numerator natin is equals to 1. So therefore, wala nang, 1 na lang yung exponent ng ating number inside radical sign. So ganyan pag-verify ng rule number 2. Then, raised to the power of m. So let's try. Example. How about we are given a cube root of 27 squared. So you can rewrite it using our second rule. So it is just simply a cube root of 27 raised to the power of 2. So ganun. Then para hindi ka malilito kapag magsisimplify ka magsimplify ka ng radical expressions without using calculator, kasi may mga examinations na you are not required to bring calculator. So what will you do, class? Now if you're given a certain number inside a radical sign, you are going to simplify it or express it as a product of its prime numbers. So for 27, since 27 is a factor of 3 siya, so we can simply write 27 as 9 times 3, or just simply 3 times 3 times 3 raised to the power of 2. Or we can just simply write this as a cube root of 3 cube, then squared. And we all know that cube root of 3 cube, since yung exponent mo is equal to your index, so recall our module 2 discussion, so therefore maka-cancel out, ma-extract na tong 3 sa labas. And remember, since cube root siya, isa lang yung value, unlike sa ating square root, fourth root na may dalawa siyang value. So we only have 3 as its value. So we have here 3, then squared. So we have here 3 times 3, we have 9. So therefore, this is our answer for rule number 2. So take note, class, sa rule number 2, pwede mo pala ma-extract yung exponent mo sa number mo sa loob, given that you only have one term. So here, isang term lang or isang number. Kapag dalawa na to, kapag may katabi na siya na number 3, hindi mo yan ma-extract agad-agad yung m. You will do some manipulation first in order to extract that exponent. Kasi in this rule lang, only one number or one expression a or term is raised to the power of m. So therefore, yan lang yung pwedeng ma-extract mo sa ganito na property. So let's jump to the third rule. So remember the second rule. So sa third rule natin, this rule is all about the product rule of radicals. So let's say we have here the nth root of a multiply the nth root of b. So what is our answer? So you can just simply write this as the nth root of their products, a and b. So maka-multiply ka lang ng two radical expressions kapag pareho sila ng index. So ganito yung rule ng radical sign. So it's very different from the laws of exponent, kasi baka combine ka lang ng dalawang expressions or dalawang number kapag the same yung base nila. So pwede mo ma-add yung exponents nila with the same base. But here in our radical expression, you can multiply two radical expressions if they have the same index. So we have here n index. So just copy the index and then multiply the two numbers a and b. So let's say we have here example. We have the square root of 4 times square root of 3. So, since pareho sila, square root, so you can just write the square root of 12. So, simple as that. Kasi, kapag i-combine mo yung square root of 2 times cube root of 3, it is not the same as cube root square root or square root of square root or cube root. So, 2 times 3. Hindi mo yan pwede masulot na cube root times square root. Hindi yan pwede. Kasi it is verified naman by using the its exponential form or the rational exponent. Kasi kapag i-verify natin to, this is just simply written as a to the power of 1 over n multiplied by b to the power of 1 over n. Since they have the same exponents, therefore we can extract by employing the distributive property of exponent. Diba? Remember here that if we have ab raised to the power of m, this is just simply written as a raised to m, b raised to m. Therefore, didistribute natin yung exponent. In this case also, we do the reverse. We extract both their exponents kasi same lang sila. So that's why we have here a times b raised to 1 over n. And then, this one, if we convert it back to a radical expression, then this would look like this. So, this is just simply the nth root of the product of a and b. So, again, class, you cannot combine or multiply two radical expressions if they have different radical exponents. But, pwede yan siya ma-combine. So, added information na lang. Sir, paano kung different sila? Anong gagawin natin? So, in this example, we have here square root of 2 and cube root of 3. How can we combine that one? So, paano yan? So, we can apply, class, we can apply the least common denominator na method dito. Kasi kapag i-convert natin to into exponential form, so we have here 2 raised to the power of 1/2. So ito na example na to, kina-convert ko siya into exponential form, multiplied by 3 raised to the power of 1/3. So ayan na, 3 raised to the power of 1/3. And then I will find the LCD between 1/2 and 1/3. So, we have here 1/2 and 1/3. So, ano bang LCD nila? Or, we apply the principle of equivalent fraction. Or, ano ba equivalent fraction nila? Such that both fractions, 1/2 and 1/3, has a common denominator. So, yung common ng 2 and 3 is simply 6. So, 6 divided by 2, we have 3. 3 times 1, 3. So, yung first pala natin na fraction is equivalent to 3 over 6. Kasi 3 over 6 is equals to 1/2. How about our 1/3? So, again, over 6. So, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So, therefore, we can rewrite both of these into this. Let's say we have 2 raised to the power of 3 over 6 multiplied by 3 raised to the power of 2 over 6. Therefore, meron silang common. So, anong common nila? So, yung common nila is simply 1 over 6. So, therefore, you can extract 1 over 6 for each number. So, if we are going to extract this, what's left on the 2? So, meron ka na lang 2 cubed. How about for 3? You only have 3 squared. Then, raised to the power of 1/6. Now, if we are going to convert it back to a radical expression, then we can say this as the 6th root. Kasi remember, yung denominator natin dito will serve as your index. The 6th root of this expression inside the parentheses. So we have here 2 cubed times 3 squared. Although it is not discussed in your module, so this is just an added information to you. So ganito mag-combine ng mga expressions kapag iba-iba yung index nila or exponents. So ganito. So let's jump to the fourth rule. So class, are you still following? Naka-follow na class? Okay. Okay, na po yung nag-join. Si Gallardo. Okay. So let's jump with the fourth rule. Now, yung fourth rule natin, the same sa previous rule, but yung operation is division. So let's say we have nth root of a number a divided by nth root of a number b is just simply equal to the nth root of the quotient of a and b. So parang ganun lang. Example tayo. Let's say we have here the fourth root of 27 all over fourth root of 9. So 9 to. You can just write it as the fourth root of the quotient of 27 and 9. So we all know that 27 divided by 9 is equals to 3. So the final answer is fourth root of 3. So therefore, you can only combine two radical expressions in division kapag same yung index nila. So ganun lang. Kapag hindi kapareho yung index nila, therefore you cannot combine both radical expressions. But kung may mga case na ganun, tas if they are going to require you to simplify it, then you can use my previous technique on how to combine two radical expressions with different exponents. So ganun lang yung technique na yun. Then again class, hindi mo pwede ma-combine kapag iba yung iba yung index nila. So this is our fourth rule, the rule of division. Then let's jump to the fifth rule. So yung fifth rule natin sa properties of radical pa rin. So if we have the mth root of the nth root, so meaning dalawa na, we take the radical of a radical. Parang may radical expression sa loob ng radical. So para siyang cascaded siya, cascaded. So we have mth root of the nth root of a. So how are we going to convert this, or how are we going to simplify this? Now if you met this kind of expression, sa radical expression, then you can just simply multiply their index. So we have here index m and index n. So you can just simply write this as m multiplied by n square root, root of a. Kasi kapag i-convert this, if we want to verify this, if we want it in an exponential form, so it will look like this. You have here a raised to the power of 1 over n, kasi nth root. Then, pinapasok pa siya sa ibang radical expression, which is mth root. So therefore, you can enclose this, raised to 1 over m. So therefore, by the multiplication law of exponents, you just simply multiply these two. So this would be written as a raised to the power of 1 over n times m. So therefore, if we convert it back to a radical expression, so it will look like this. Ganito lang. Kasi diba yung denominator natin is our index. So we just simply m times n root of a. So let's have an example. So example tayo class. How about if we're given cube root of the square root of 10? So how are we going to convert this? So you just multiply their index. So here, automatic na siya class na may 2 dito. Kapag square root, 2 agad yung index. So we have here 3 times 2 root of 10. This is simply equal to 6. 6th root of 10. So ganun lang yung ating fifth rule of our radical expression. So let's jump with the sixth rule. So yung ika-6 natin, sixth rule, we have nth root of a. So I have here nth root of a raised to the power of n. Sabi daw dito is just simply a Now, how? Bakit naging A na lang? So, bakit naging A siya? Now, if we want to convert it into exponential form, it will look like this class. A raised to the power of 1 over n. So, bakit naging fraction form siya? Kasi nga, nakaradical siya. And remember, our denominator would be our index. So, A raised to 1 over n raised to the power of this exponent outside the parenthesis, which is equal to n. So, raised to n. And then, remember the multiplication rule of exponents. So, we just multiply their exponents. So, we have A raised to the power of n over n, which is simply A raised to the power of 1, or simply A. So, therefore, na-verify na natin yung ating law dito, the sixth law of radical expressions. Then in this case din class, if you are given this nth root of A raised to the power of n, it has two conditions. For n equals even, so kapag even daw yung index natin, you just simply write the nth root of 8 raised to the power of n is just simply the absolute. So, the absolute na klase, the absolute of A. Bakit? Kasi, yung hinahanap nila siguro dito is a positive, hindi naman positive. Like, ina-absolute ito dahil, you are going to take the square root, the n square, or an exponent raised to the power of n. So, ganun. Parang, ni-raise mo siya to the power of n. And since n is an even number, therefore, the resulting answer would always be positive. Kasi, kunyari, you are given a negative 4 na number. Kapag nire-raise mo yan to an even exponent, so kapag even yung exponent, let's say, raised to the power of 4, of course, the resulting answer would always be positive. Therefore, wala siyang chance na mag-negative. So, in this case, if we're going to apply this for our first condition, kasi ito yung unang condition natin for n even number. If you're going to apply this, you just take the absolute of A. Let's say, for example, we have here the square root of negative 12 squared. So, diba? You can just simply write this into this form, negative 12, then squared, diba? So, it will simply look like this. So, maging ganito na siya. Then, this would be equal to just simply the absolute of negative 12, wherein the absolute of a negative number is just equal to 12. Bakit nakakancel? Bakit 12 lang? Kasi, if we take a look back in this form, since yung index natin tsaka yung exponent inside the radical sign is the same, so therefore, we can cancel that one out, then we can just extract negative 12. But, that's not, hindi sa lahat ng nagpakataon na negative 12 yung extract natin. Kasi if we are going to square this, di ba, kapag i-square muna natin to, di ba, yung resulta niya is a positive number, positive 144. Then, if we're going to square root that, so we can now have a positive number. But, in other books, so, isinulat nila na ganito daw yung forma. Let's say we have square root of negative 12 raised to the power of 2. Actually, if you input this in your calculator, it will display a math error. Why? Because sa calculator, naka-program siya na i-simplify muna yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, dito, kapag i-simplify ito yung square root of negative 12, will result to an imaginary number. Therefore, mag-math error siya. But this is just for the purpose of visualization. I-visualize lang na this expression pala, this here will equal to this one. So, that's for the first condition. How about for our second condition? The second condition is for n will be add. Kapag mag-add. So, kapag mag-add number lang siya, you can just simply write this as the nth root of A raised to the power of n is just equal to A. So, hindi ka na mag-absolute. Just write the number. Let's say, we have here the cube root. So cube root of negative 3, then raised to the power of 3, just simply write negative 3. So hindi ka na mag-absolute value unlike for n even number. So yun lang yung ating properties ng ating radical expression. So since you already have the knowledge sa mga properties niya, so let's try to simplify radical expression. So let's start first for tinatawag natin na single. So walang jowa, single terms. So try muna natin yung single terms or what we called monomial. So mga monomial natin that has radical expressions. So example number 1. So we have here the fourth root of 48. So in this case, para hindi ka malilito, apply mo lahat ng mga properties. But first tip ko para sa inyo, just convert this number 48 into a factor of prime numbers. Siguro sa mga iba diyan na medyo kanang kuan kanang advanced na, then bright pod, siguro maka figure out din mo kung unsa ang factor sa 48 nga naa siya fourth root. But para sa uban na you just take one step at a time, so let's do this. So ganito para hindi mahirapan. So we convert 48 into a factor of prime numbers. So we have here fourth root. What is the factor of 48? Diba? We all know that 48 is a product of 6 times 8. How about for 6? 6 is 2 times 3. How about for 8? Now 8 would be 4 times 4. Then how about for 4? So we have 2 times 2. And here we also have 2 times 2. So ito na yung prime numbers natin. So ilan yung 2 natin dito? So bilang natin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have here 2 to the power of 5 times 3. So dito mas madali mo lang ma-simplify yung expression. Bakit? Kasi dapat dito meron kang at least ma-extract. So paano ba natin ito ma-extract? Remember that 2 raised to the power of 5 can be breakdown into 2 raised to the power of 4 times 2. Kasi di ba yung exponent natin kapag same yung base nila, i-add mo lang. So you can write this 2 to the power of 4 times 2 times 3. And then bakit ko to ginagawa na process na ito? Kasi if we have the same exponent to our index, so kapag same yung exponent natin sa yung index, mas madali nating ma-extract yung number. So since 2 here has an exponent the same with our index, so therefore we can extract 2 here. So extract natin sa labas. So we have here 2. Then what's left inside? So we now have fourth root of 2 times 3, 6. Now fourth root of 6 cannot be simplified anymore. Kasi yan na talaga, hindi na siya ma-extract yung 6 kasi ano na siya, pinaka lowest na term na gid siya sa radical expression. So therefore this would be your final answer. So I'll just take the positive, but you can write positive or negative here kasi di ba even. So you can just simply positive or negative 2 fourth root of 6. Kasi di ba even yung index natin. So you have two possible values, the positive and negative values. So my question kayo class sa example number 1 natin. Na question. Wala. Hello? Wala. Okay Sige. So let's continue with let's continue with example number 2. So how about if we are given square root of 75 x cubed. So ganon. Since yung index natin is 2, at least we can write the expression inside the radical as a factor of as a factor of a certain number that is raised to the power of 2. At least ba sa mga exponent nila may 2. Kasi kapag yung exponent nila may 2, then we can just extract them easily outside the radical sign. So here, yung 75, so to make it quick, 75 is a factor of 25 times 5, di ba? 25 times 5 ba? No, it's 25 times 3 pala. So 25 times 3. Then, remember that 25 is a factor of 5 times 5. So therefore, 75 pala can be written as 5 times 5 times 3. Diba? 5 times 5, 25 times 3, 75. And then, we can also rewrite x cubed as a product of x squared times x. So remember sa exponent natin. Then, the 5 here can be raised or can be converted into exponent. So we have 5 squared times x squared times 3 times x. Then here, since both 5 and x has the same, their exponent pala, yung exponent pala ng 5 tsaka yung exponent ng x are the same with our index kasi yung index natin dito is 2. Therefore, we can extract both yung 5x outside. So, we now have 5x square root of 3x. So, this is now the simplest form. Mapapansin mo naman class na simplest form na siya if our constant inside the radical sign is a prime number. So, kapag prime number na siya, let's say 3, prime number naman siya, it cannot be broke down into smaller numbers, naman. So, therefore, simplified na siya. How about our x? Since our exponent here is lesser than our index, therefore, wala nang pag-asa na ma-simplify mo pa siya. So, ganun lang yung rule class ha. Remember sa discussion natin sa module 2. Kapag yung exponent mo sa loob ng radical sign is lesser than your index, therefore, there is no chance na ma-simplify mo pa siya into a smaller form. So, therefore, since yung index natin dito is even number, now we have two possible answers. We have either positive or negative 5x raised to cube root of, square root of 3x. So, ito yung answer natin sa ating example for number 2. Now, let's jump for another example. Here, we are given for example, number 3, we are given a cube root. So, we have here cube root of negative 40 x raised to the power of 6. So, again, class, i-rewrite mo to such that the exponent of each factor, so again, i-rewrite mo yung expression sa loob ng radical sign such that the exponent of each factor is the same with your index. Para mas madali. So, let's try. Cube root of 40. Ano bang factor ng 40? We all know that 40 is equals to 4 times 10. But our 4, we can simply write this as 2 times 2. So, here, our 40, so dito lang tayo. So, we have here 2 times 2. How about our 10? Kasi diba, 4 times 10, 40. Our 10 can be a factor of 2 times 5. So here, meron tayo dito. Then, madaming possible answer dito. Kasi you can have this as positive 2 cube multiplied by negative 5. Kasi the resulting answer would be negative 40. What if we put here negative? Let's say if I'm going to use negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times positive 5, would it still the same? Of course, kasi negative 2 cube is equal to negative 8 and negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. So class, it's up to you kung yung gagamitin mo ba is yung 2 cube times negative 5 or yung negative 2 cube times 5. So, it's up to you, class. Both are the same. So, we have here 2 cube. So, yung positive lang. But, class, ma-extract pala. So, later na lang. Sa first case pa lang tayo. So, sa first case, para natin ma-verify kung ano ba talaga yung eksakto na sagot. Kasi isa lang talaga yung sagot para dito, class. 'Di ba? We all know that our index is an odd number, therefore we only have one answer. And then dito kasi sinasabi ko na dalawa yung option natin. But actually, both options meron siyang isang way para we now have, or para maka-arrive lang tayo ng isang sagot. So let's try with the positive. 2 cubed times negative 5. How about for x to the power of 6? Actually, x to the power of 6 can be written as x cubed times x cubed. Kasi diba 3 plus 3 is 6. So therefore, ano yung terms natin dito na may pareho yung exponent nila tsaka index? Of course, 2 cubed. So therefore, ma-extract 2. So 2. How about this one? So may dalawang x. So put here x times x. Then cube root of negative 5. So ma-simplify mo to dito. 2 times x squared cube root of negative 5. Class, are you sure na simplified na itong cube root of negative 5? Others will say yes. Others will say no. For me, it's a no. Bakit? Kasi yung negative 1 dito, ma-extract pa to. So, bakit naman, sir? Kasi, if we take negative 1 cube, anong sagot? This is just simply written as negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. The answer is negative 1 pa rin. So, therefore, may katabi yung negative 5 dito. You can rewrite this as 2x squared cube root of 5 times negative 1. Kasi kapag lagyan mo yan ng cube dyan, still negative 1 pa rin. Wala na mabago. And since the exponent of negative 1 is the same with our index, therefore, may extract para natin yung negative 1 here. So, we now have negative 2 x squared cube root of 5. Now, this is our final answer. Therefore, pwede ka pala makagamit sa second condition na you can just simply use negative 2 para maka-jump up ka kaagad sa answer. Unlike this, nga if we take the positive 2 cube, then kapag hindi mo ito mapapansin na may negative, then mag-jump up ka agad na ito yung answer. Therefore, you have a higher chance na ma-mark ka ng marong ka sa problem. So, as what I have told you, class, always remember, wala kang dalawa. Hindi dalawa yung answer mo kapag yung index mo is an odd number. Sa even lang talaga, class. Sa even ka lang maka-meet ng dalawang sagot. Take note, sa odd, hindi. So, let's try with the other example. Let's say we are given single term pa rin. So, we are given 5 times the square root of 8. So, product na tayo dito ha. Product, kasi multiplication. Negative 3 times 3. So, again, class, apply mo yung rule. So, just multiply first the constant. So, ito yung constant natin ito. 5 at saka negative 3. So, multiply mo muna mga constant. 5 and negative 3. Then, can we combine this square root of 8 and square root of 3? So, makakombine ba ito silang dalawa? Of course, makakombine ito sila. Bakit? Because they have the same index. So, just write their index, so square root. Then, multiply the number inside the radical sign. So, we have 8 times 3. So, what is 5 times negative 3? So, this is negative 15. Then, how about 8 times 3? This is equal to 24. Now, class, kapag mag-simplify ka, dapat i-reduce mo ha. Kapag ma-reduce mo pa yung loob ng radical sign, so therefore, hindi pa yan yung final answer. So, negative 15, itry natin kapag ma-reduce pa siya. So, you can write 24 as a factor of prime numbers. So, balik tayo dito, 8 times 3. And we all know that 8 times 3 is 2 cubed. So, we have here 2 cubed times 3. Since index natin is 2, so i-rewrite natin yan na meron siyang factor wherein yung exponent ng factor mo is 2. Therefore, we can write this as 2 squared times 2 times 3. And since meron na tayo ditong kapareho yung exponent tsaka index, ma-extract na yung 2 dito. So we have here negative 15 times 2. Then, what's left is 2 times 3, which is 6. So 6. Now in this case, we have two answer. It's either positive and negative. 15 times 2 is 30. So class, don't worry with the negative. Bakit positive negative? Kasi kapag mag-negative yung answer natin sa radical expression, of course, yung negative dito, ma-positive na. And if ma-positive yung answer dito sa 2, of course, yung negative dito, ma-negative din. So, overall, dalawa pa rin yung ating sagot. Either positive or negative. 30 square root of 6. So, ito na talaga yung pinaka-simplest form niya. So, class, do you have a question? My question so far? Okay, so let's jump with the next example. How about if you are going to simplify 2 or more terms? So dito sa next, 2 or more terms na. Kasi sa previous natin na example, you're only given a single term. So monomial lang. How about binomial na or trinomial? Then here, you have two operations. You have addition and multiplication. So here I will going to teach you kung paano ka mag-add at saka mag-subtract ng radical expressions. So for example number 1, you have here square root of 48. I mean, no, it's not square root. It's 2 square root of 48. So 2 square root of 48 yan. Erase muna natin to. 2 square root of 48 minus 3 square root of 27. Now class, the rule of the rule of addition and subtraction of radical expressions, you must have, so ito lang yung tandaan nyo, must have the same index and radicand. So radicand. Ito lang class. Example, if you are given square root of 3 plus square root of 3, of course, makakombine mo yan. Why? Because it follows our rule. Must have the same index and radicand. Ano yung index nila? Of course, square root, 2 and 2. How about its radicand? Wherein it is a number or expression inside the radical sign. So 3. So therefore, you can write this as 2 square root of 3. So parang tinitreat ko lang siya as variable. Let's say we have x plus x nagiging 2x. So ganun din yung gagawin mo sa radical expressions mo kapag mag-add ka or mag-subtract. So ayan na ha, must have the same index and radicand. Now in our example, since hindi kapareho yung index nila, I mean kapareho yung index nila here 2 at saka 2 kasi square root, but yung radicand nila 48 and 27 is magkaiba. So we try to simplify this as much as possible so that we can come up the same radicand. So again, i-rewrite mo yung 48 as a prime factor. So we have here 6 times 8, 48. So you can say 6 is 2 times 3, 8 is 2 cubed, minus 3 times the square root of 27. 27 can be written as 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27. So here 2 square root of I can write 2 here, or I can extract 1, 2 here para yung 2 cube magiging 2 na lang, tas idagdag ko dito sa 2 kasi may isang 2 dito. So we can say here 2 squared times 3 times 2 squared. Anyways, the same lang yung resulta niya dito. Ginaganon ko lang para meron tayo may extract. And here also, since may dalawang 3 dito, so you can just say 3 squared times 3. Since same na yung exponent tsaka index dito sa first, so we can factor out dalawang 2 kasi 'di ba dalawa yung number na the same yung exponent tsaka index. So, factor natin dalawang 2, 2 times 2. What's left inside is 3 minus 3 times dito 3 squared naman. So 3 squared dito. So we can now extract. So extract 3 on the outside. So we have 3. So we have here 3. Then square root of 3. Then perform the operation. So in this case class, para mas para mas madali or para meron tayong uniformity, just take the positive na lang. The positive answer na lang muna. Kasi kapag square root, di ba, as what I have told you, it is an even number, yung index natin. So just take the positive lang. Dito lang muna natin i-consider yung negative. Like the positive lang. So simplify. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So we have here 8 cube root. 8 squared of 3 minus 3 times 3, 9. So 9 squared of 3. Now in this case, you can now subtract them. Why? Because they have the same index and radicand. So therefore, 8 minus 9 is negative 1. So we have negative square root of 3. So ganun lang class. Ito lang yung sagot natin for example number 1. How about if we have example number 2? Let's say we have here cube root of 16x minus cube root of 54x to the fourth. Now, para mas madali, so let's rewrite 16 as a factor of prime numbers. So for 16, we have 2 cube. Kasi diba 2 cube is 8. Then times 2 is 16. So we have 2 cube times 2 times x. Then for 54, I think 54 is a factor of, so iyan muna natin, 54 is 3 cube. So 3 cube to kasi yung 3 cube is equals to 27. Then 27 times 2 is 54. So we have here 3 cube times 2. Then how about our x to the fourth? You can just simply write this as x cube times x. Then i-extract mo yung numbers na same exponent niya sa radical sa index. So we have here 2. So extract mo yung 2. What's left is cube root of 2x. How about on the second term? Since meron ka itong 3 cube and x cube, so ma-factor out yung 3x. So therefore, you have 3x. Then cube root of 2x. Now in this case, since pareho na sila, so you can just add the expression outside the radical signs. So subtract mo yung 2 tsaka negative 3x. Since balik na naman tayo sa algebra, hindi ka pwede makakombine ng a constant and a variable. So therefore, magiging 2 minus 3x lang yan multiplied by cube root of 2x. So this would be our final answer for example number 2. So class, are you still following? So naka-follow na class? Okay. Walay question so far? Okay. So let's jump to the next example for 2 or more terms, adding and subtracting 2 or more terms. So how about if we're given this example, we have 8xy. So 8xy minus square root. So square root of 25 x squared y squared plus cube root. So this is cube root. This is cube root. So cube root of 8x cube y cube. So 8x cube y cube. So here you just again yung expression mo or number inside the radical sign must be expressed as a factor of prime numbers para mas madali. So, in the first term, just copy 8xy. On the second term, we all know that 25 is equivalent to 5 squared. Kasi 5 times 5 is 25. So, we have 5 squared, x squared, y squared. Plus, how about our 8? 8 can be expressed as a factor of a prime factor of 2. So, this is equivalent to 2 cubed times x cubed, y cubed. And then after this, as you can see, as you can notice on the on our radicand, since yung 5 natin, yung exponent niya is the same sa index, pati din yung x, pati din yung y, same sila, 2. On the third term din, here, you can notice yung 2 din natin, yung exponent niya is 3, the same sa index. The same true with our x and with our y. Therefore, we can extract all of them. All of them na nasa loob ng radical sign. Therefore, this can be easily written as 8xy minus yung 5 dito. Ma-extract minus 5, then xy. The last part, plus 2xy. And then, let's go back to our algebra. The rules on adding and subtracting algebraic expressions. So, since the same yung variables nila, x and y, so we can combine them. So, 8 minus 5 is positive 3, plus 2 is positive 5. So, we have the final answer of 5xy. Ito lang, class. Then, we have our last example for simplifying radicals. So, let's say you are given a fourth root of 32x plus fourth root of 2x raised to the 5. So again, please convert the number or expression inside the radical sign into a factor of prime numbers. So square root of 32 can be a prime factor of 2 raised to the power of 4. Why? Because 2 times 2 is equals to 4. So, dalawang 2 na. Times tatlo sa third na 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So, hindi pala siya 2 to the 4th. It's 2 to the 5. Kasi 16 times 2 is 32. So, therefore, yung 32 can be expressed as 2 raised to the power 5x plus 4th root of 2x. Dito, yung extra 5 natin, i-factor na natin na ma-same yung exponent niya sa index. So, you can write this as 2x to the 4th times x. So, here, yung 2 to the 5th natin, pwede pa natin siya ma-breakdown into 2 to the 4th times 2 times x. Plus, so nasa loob pa rin ito ng radical sign, 4th root of 2x to the 4th times x. As you can see, yung 2 natin dito na may exponent na 4 ma-extract sa labas. So, we now have 2 4th root of 2x plus yung x natin dito, since yung exponent niya is the same sa index, so we can extract it out. So, we now have x 4th root of 2x. Since both terms has the same index and radicand, therefore, makakombine natin siya. So, you combine the expression outside the radical symbol, 2 and x. Since, by the rule of algebra, hindi na yan makombine, so just write that as 2 plus x, then 4th root of 2x. So, that would be our simplified answer. For this example involving 2 or more terms. So, adding radical signs, 2 or more terms or 3 terms. So, here, 3 terms man ito. Then, again class, kapag mag-add ka at mag-subtract, don't forget, you can only add 2 radical expressions or more if they have the same index and the same radicand or the number or expressions inside the radical sign. So, yun lang. Yun lang yung tatandaan nyo. Then, for the topic for radicals, ma-include din yung rationalizing denominators and numerators. So, ano ba tong ibig sabihin ng pag-rationalize ng isang expression or pag-rationalize ng isang radical expression? Now, we have rules here. Kasi kapag sinasabing mag-rationalize ka, you must avoid or eliminate the radical expressions in either numerator or the denominator. So, ganun lang. Let's say if the problem ask you or require you to rationalize the denominator, so meaning class, eliminate the radical expression in the denominator. Now, if it is in the numerator, then i-eliminate mo din yung mga radical expression sa numerator. Now, for rationalization, so kapag nag-rationalize tayo, we have, of course, we have some certain rules to apply. So, if you already read your module, so marami dong rules. So, if you can see this either in the numerator and the denominator, this expression, so let's start with square root of x. Anong gagawin natin para ma-eliminate yung radical symbol na ito? Actually, yung gagamitin natin na technique is that you are going to, may nag-join? You are going to find a certain factor of our radicand, di ba? Yung radicand natin is x. Such that, yung exponent niya is magiging the same sa index. So, yun lang talaga yung goal natin kapag nag-rationalize ta in this form. We have only a monomial form or a single term. So, you just look for a factor of our radicand that will result to an exponent that would be equal to our index. So, here, x dito natin is to the power of 1. So, kaya nga, i-rationalize natin kasi yung exponent niya is not equal sa index pa. So, anong gagawin natin para ma-equal? So, just multiply sa loob ng x to the power of 1. Kasi kapag mag-multiply ka ng isang x pa, magiging x squared na. And then, in this, you can just easily multiply square root of x by x. Why? Because it will just look this in this way. X squared of x. So, anong gagawin natin? So, again, class, kapag mag-multiply ka ng radical expressions, remember yung rule natin, di ba? Kapag mag-multiply ka, at least they have the same, or they should have the same index. So, therefore, kapag mag-multiply ka ng factor sa loob, so yung x mo dito must have a square root sign para same yung index nila. So, in that way, makakombine ka na. So, makamultiply ka na sa factor mo sa loob ng radical symbol mo. So, this will be written as x squared. And here, since our exponent and the index are the same, so magiging x na ito. That's why, na-eliminate na natin yung radical symbol. So, therefore pala, sa first pala natin na example, itong square root of x, so ano pala yung gagawin natin? So, you just multiply this by square root of x. So, you just multiply the numerator or the denominator by square root of x. Ganun lang pag-rationalize. How about if we are given a cube root? Let's say a cube root of 3. Ano ba yung i-multiply natin para mawala na yung cube root na sign? So again, class, as what I have told you, you need to find a factor that will result to a number raised to a certain exponent such that yung exponent niya magiging equal na sa index. So since yung 3 natin dito is yung exponent niya is isa lang, so only 1, so therefore we need to multiply 3 squared para magiging 3 cube na siya and then maka-cancel out na. So yung pag-rationalize pala ng ganitong expression is just the product, or you just multiply either the numerator or the denominator by cube root of 3 squared. Kasi yung magiging resulta nito is cube root of 3 cube. And what's cube root of 3 cube? Since they have since both exponent and index are the same, so just equal to 3. So therefore, matatanggal na yung radical symbol natin. But, how about for two terms? Kasi yung dalawang ito is just for a single term. So, single term lang. How about, sir, for two terms? Let's say I have here a square root of 3. So, I have here square root of 3 minus 1. So, ano bang i-multiply ko either sa numerator or sa denominator para matanggal yung radical sign dito? So, in this case, you are going to apply a conjugation. So, yun yung tinatawag nila na conjugation. So, paano ba mag-conjugate? Actually, yung conjugation comes from this principle. Diba? If you remember sa ating polynomial, yung difference of two squares, diba? You have your x squared minus y squared can be factored out by x plus y and x minus y. Kasi, kapag ina-apply natin to dito sa ating rule, itong cube root as square root of 3 minus 1, so if we multiply this by its opposite, di ba, minus man ito. So, if we multiply it by its opposite na plus, let's say, cube root of 3 minus 1, multiplied by cube root of 3 plus 1. Ano mangyayari? This form right here is already similar in this form. Then, para ma-simplify itong form na ito, you just simply square the two numbers, then yung difference nila. So, i-square mo yung cube root of 3. I mean, square root of 3. So, we have here square root of 3 squared minus 1 squared. Ano yung magiging resulta? Since ito, the same exponent, kasi diba yung exponent pwede ito malagay sa loob, yung properties ng radical. So, since yung exponent niya and yung index are the same, therefore, 3 na lang yung maiwan. So, we now have 3 minus 1 squared is just 1, minus 1. The answer is 2. Therefore, yung radical expression natin has been eliminated. So, na-eliminate na siya by the use of the conjugation na property or yung conjugation na method. How about if we are given two radical expressions? So, let's say we have square root of 5 plus square root of 3. Again, i-apply mo lang yung conjugation na rule. Kahit na may dalawa sila. Kasi, you can use this form. X plus y, x minus y. Multiply sila, just the difference of their squares. So, difference lang daw sa squares nila. So, ano ba yung i-multiply natin? So, dapat kapag nakakita ka ng ganito, you just multiply the numerator or the denominator by its opposite sign. So, square root of 5 minus square root of 3. Kasi, if you'll do that, the resulting answer would be square root of 5 squared minus square root of 3 squared. And since the same na yung mga exponents nila, so therefore, yung maiwan sa first term is 5. Sa second term is 3. So, 5 minus 3 is equals to 2. So, ganito lang class. Ito lang sa double na term. So, double term. Or binomial. Kasi sa single term lang, so again, remember, for single term, just multiply a factor to your radicand para yung exponent niya is magiging equal na sa index. For a double term class, just use the conjugation property, yung difference of two squares, yung x squared minus y squared is equal to x plus y, x minus y. So, kapag binibigyan ka ng square root of 3 minus x or nth root of a number minus a certain variable, so kapag minus siya class, isulat mo lang din yung number, then addition na yung operation niya. So, parang yung opposite lang. So, kapag plus naman, yung conjugate mo is minus. So, ganun. Parang opposite. So, let's apply these rules in order to answer some problems or some rational expressions. So, we have here first Sulat natin. Unang example. We are going to rationalize this expression, this single term na expression. 5 over 2 times square root of 3. So, since meron tayong radical sign sa denominator, therefore, yan yung i-eliminate natin. So, yan yung eliminate natin. So, how are we going to eliminate this? Para ma-eliminate din class pala, kapag nag-rationalize ka class, just use the multiplicative identity property such that or it states that you just need to multiply a value of 1 to the expression para hindi mababago yung value natin. Kasi kapag nag-multiply ka lang ng square root of 3 sa denominator only, therefore nagbabago na yung value natin sa ating expression. So if you multiply square root of 3 on the denominator, therefore you should also multiply this value to the numerator as well para magiging equal lang yung value. So here, since meron tayong square root of 3, so find a factor that when multiplied, yung 3 natin dito is magiging yung exponent niya magiging square na. So you can just multiply the numerator and the denominator by square root of 3. All over square root of 3. Bakit? Kasi since makombine na siya, so para madali yung pag-rationalize mo, kung ano yung index dito, yun din yung index na gagamitin mo. Then, multiply na lang ng kung ilang exponent. Kasi 'di ba yung 3 natin is isa. So it only needs 1, 3 para maging 3 squared na siya at makancel siya. So ganun lang class. So therefore, multiply mo. So rule of multiplication, just multiply numerator, then denominators. So we have 5 cube root of 3 all over 2 square root pala, square root of 3 times 3. So since this is equal to 5 cube root of 3 all over 2 times square root of 3 squared. Since yung exponent tsaka index are the same, so ma-cancel na sila. So what's left sa ating numerator is still 5 square root. So square root pala to. Sorry for the cube root. So 5 square root of 3 all over, ma-extract na tong 3 sa labas. So yung magiging answer na is 2 times 3. And this is equal to 5 square root of 3 all over 6. So ito pala yung rationalized form natin. Given that, common kasi class, kapag mag-rationalize ka, common talaga na i-rationalize mo yung denominator. So yun yung parang common sa mathematics na as much as possible, wala kang radical sign sa baba o sa denominator. But there are also some problems that requires you to rationalize your numerator. Meaning, dapat wala kang radical expression sa numerator. But normally class or commonly na mamimit natin sa problem, yung denominator talaga yung i-rationalize mo. Meaning, wala ka talagang radical expressions or symbols sa denominator mo. So, just take note with that. So, for our second example, we are given here 2 cube root of 5. So, again, class, multiply a certain factor that will make the 5 here, or that will make the exponent of the number 5 here equal to your index. So again class, kapag na-multiply ka, the same lang yung index na gagamitin natin sa denominator. So we have cube root here, and then cube root here. Para maging 5 cube to, ano i-multiply natin? Of course, 5 squared. Kasi 5 squared times 5 is 5 cube. So lagay natin 5 squared times 5 squared. So again, do the multiplication. So we have here 2 cube root of 5 squared all over cube root of 5 cube. Since the denominator mo is 5 cube na, same na exponent saka index, so ma-extract na yung 5. So 5 na lang yung matira. So we have how on the numerator 2 cube root of 25 na lang ito. So just simplify na lang. 2 cube root of 25 all over 5. Kasi 'di ba yung 5 dito ma-extract na siya. outside the radical sign. So that's it lang class for single term. So class, kapag sinasabing rational expression, it involves fraction. Yun lang class. But don't worry, we will talk more on rational expressions on the second lesson, the next lesson for this. So next, we have another example for rationalizing radical expression. So how about in the example, we are going to rationalize the numerator. So class, magdidepende yan sa required ng problem. So here, ni-required ka na i-rationalize mo daw yung numerator. So we have the problem is square root of 5 minus square root of 7 all over 2. So since i-rationalize mo yung numerator, so yung numerator natin yung ating focus. So as you can see class, this case is the second case of our rule sa rational expression natin kanina. And ano nga yun? Kapag multiplication ito, i-multiply lang natin yung radical expression natin sa sa positive or plus na counterpart niya. So ano yung counterpart nito? So this is written as square root of 5 plus square root of 7. Kapag subtract ito, minus ito, dito addition. Kapag addition naman ito, dito subtraction. So opposite lang. All over square root of 5 plus square root of 7. And then class, in simplifying this, remember class na this form here, yung square root of 5 minus square root of 7 times square root of 5 plus square root of 7 is just equal to x plus y times x minus y, which is equal to x squared minus y squared. So remember sa previous natin na slides or sections. So just look or find the difference of their squares. So we have here square root of 5 squared minus square root of 7 squared all over square root of 5 plus square root of 7. Then since sa itaas same na yung exponent nila tsaka index, so magiging 5 na lang ito kasi makancel lang yung square root. The same thing with the second term, magiging 7 na lang ito kasi makancel na yung exponent tsaka index. Then on the denominator, we have, okay, I forgot to put 2 here. May 2 pa pala kasi may 2 doon. So we have 2 multiplied by square root of 5 plus square root of 7. And 5 minus 7 is equals to negative 2. So we have negative 2 all over 2 square root of 5 plus square root of 7. So makancel out yung 2 natin. What's left is just the negative number. So we have negative 1 all over square root of 5 minus square root of 7. So this would be our final answer if we're given this expression, and then we're going to rationalize the numerator. So sabi dito, i-rationalize daw yung numerator. So let's go to the next example. Let's say we are given square root of 3. So we have here square root of 3 minus 1 all over 2 square root of 3 plus 3. So ganon. Here, we need to rationalize the denominator kasi hindi naman dito sinasabi, dito sa pinagbabasehan ko, walang sinasabi na i-rationalize yung numerator. So kapag hindi niya nilagyan ng indication na i-rationalize mo yung numerator, therefore automatic siya na i-rationalize mo yung denominator. So focus tayo sa denominator side mo. So since yung denominator side mo is a binomial or two terms, so therefore we apply conjugation. So anong opposite nito? Just the subtraction. So we have here 2 square root of 3 minus 3 all over 2 square root of 3 minus 3. So yun ang kasimple. Then perform the multiplication. So we have here the numerator 2 square root of 3 minus 3 multiplied by square root of 3 minus 1. On the denominator, So apply the difference of two squares. So we have here 2 squared of 3 squared minus 3 squared. So class, hindi ko na lang ito i-simplify, or you can multiply the numerator. Sige, multiply na lang natin. So we have here 2 squared of 3. So distribute ko squared of 3 times 3. So distribute ko. Minus 2 squared of 3. Then minus yung 3 na naman, 3 squared of 3 plus 3 on the denominator. So square natin to. So we have 2 squared, so we have 4. So magiging 4 na ito. So 4 yung squared of 3, maka-cancel out na yung ano niya. Maka-cancel out na yung radical sign niya. So we now have 4 times 3 na lang. Minus 3 squared is 9. So on the numerator, let's simplify. Since itong 3 times 3 is just equal to 3 squared, then yung exponent niya is similar to your index. Therefore, ma-extract yung 3 sa labas. So we now have 2 times 3 minus, here makukombine na ito kasi they have the same index at saka the same the same radicand. So therefore, negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So negative 5 squared of 3 plus 3 all over 4 times 3 equals 12 minus 9 is equals to 3. So to simplify further, we have 2 times 3, 6. So making 6 minus 5 squared of 3 plus 3 all over 3. This will be equal to 9 minus 5 squared of 3 all over 3. So therefore, this is our exact answer. If you solve it using your calculator, ang answer na imo ma-arrive is just an approximation. Kasi absolutely class, ang answer gid ani class sa calculator is, the exact answer if you're going to express this is an irrational number kasi infinite and non-repeating yung decimal niya. So, para ma-show natin yung exact na value, just write this. 9 minus 5 squared of 3 all over 3 is already its exact value in this form. So, ganun lang. Kasi kapag i-convert mo to into its purest form, irrational kasi to eh. So, infinite. Walang katapusan yung decimal places. So, let's have another example for rationalizing radical expressions. So, example tayo. Another example. So, what if you are given, let's say, square root. So, we have square root of x minus square root of c all over x minus c. So, in this case, class, let's rationalize the numerator. So, rationalize natin yung numerator. So, since we have the numerator square root of x minus square root of c all over x minus c, so yung i-multiply natin dito is the opposite. Since this is subtraction, so i-multiply natin is addition. So, we have here square root of x plus square root of c all over x minus c. So, in this case, use the difference of two squares. So, ito magiging square root of x squared minus square root of c squared all over x minus c. Then, simplify. So, since same expression, same exponent niya, so makancel out na lang, magiging x minus, dito is c, all over x minus c. Since the same yung numerator at denominator, magiging 1 na lang ito. So, therefore, the answer is 1 for this example. So, class, nag-gets ra class? Still following? Okay. So, we have another example. Okay, para dyan ma-practice mo. Para what na reason na dili makagets. So, let's try this. we have 5 over square root of 2 minus 1. So again, apply conjugation. So i-conjugate natin yung denominator kasi yung denominator na naman yung merong radical symbol. So again class, since minus ito, so yung conjugation natin is addition. So we multiply both numerator and denominator. Square root of 2 plus 1 all over square root of 2 plus 1. Then multiply. So 5 times square root of 2 plus 1 all over ito. So again, difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. So we have here square root of 2 squared minus 1 squared. So this would be equal to 5 square root of 2 plus 5 all over ito. Makakancel na yung radical symbol dito. So magiging 2 na lang ito. 2 minus 1. So we now have 5 square root of 2 plus 5 all over 2. So, all over 1 pala ito class. Sorry. This is all over 1. All over 1. Or simply pa di ay 5 square root of 2 plus 5. So ito lang. Ito lang yung simplest form niya. So ganito. And then let's try sa mga medyo difficult na mga radical expressions. Let's say we have here square root of x plus h minus square root of x all over square root of x plus h plus square root of x. So here class, medyo narito kayo kasi both the numerator and the denominator have radical expression. So ano yung unang titingnan natin? Of course class, as what I have told you again and again, usually class, commonly or automatic na i-rationalize mo muna yung denominator mo. So focus tayo sa denominator natin. So ito yung focus natin, denominator. In your denominator, since this is positive, so ano yung conjugate nito? Yung conjugation niya. Of course, negative or subtraction. So just write square root of x plus h minus square root of x. Then the same din sa denominator, square root of x plus h minus square root of x. And then multiply. So ito, since they are the same, so remember class, if you have a minus b times a minus b, this is just simply equal to a minus b squared, or in the FOIL method, this is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So remember mo lang ito kasi this is of the form. So let's just write muna in this way, square root of x plus h minus square root of x squared all over ito. Since sum and difference to of two numbers, or yung resulting nito is difference of two squares, so we have here square root of x plus h squared minus square root of x squared. So this would be equal to x plus h minus square root of x squared all over x plus h, kasi matanggal na, minus x na lang. So x minus x, 0 na ito. What's left on this is we have here square root of x plus h minus square root of x squared all over h. So h na lang. If your h here so kapag yung h natin dito is constant, okay lang. If our h here is variable, so therefore always denote class na h must not be equal to 0. Why? Kasi kapag mag-equivalent to 0, magiging undefined na yung expression natin. But don't worry, kapag yung answer mo lang is hanggang dito, I'll consider it dito lang. Wala ka ng condition na such that h should not be equal to 0. Kasi depende din yan kung indicate that h is only a constant, so therefore no need to indicate this condition. If h is a variable, therefore you should put some conditions para magiging define or magiging true yung expression mo or yung radical expression mo. So last example for this topic, yung pag-rationalize ng radical expression. So let's say we have here 4. So 4 minus square root of x minus 9 all over x minus 25. So meron siyang condition dito that such that x should not be equal to 25. Why? Because kapag mag 25 dito, magiging 0 yung denominator. Therefore, this expression will be undefined. So in this case, class, we are going to rationalize the numerator. And class, ito din yung importante na process para hindi na tayo or yung forma ng ating expression is hindi na siya ma-undefined if we set the value of x is equals to 25. Bakit? So let's try to solve. So here we are going to rationalize the numerator. Therefore, we just look at the or focus tayo sa numerator. So since yung numerator natin is two terms, 4 and square root of x minus 9, therefore we need to conjugate it. Since negative dito or subtraction, yung conjugation natin is addition. So opposite. So okay, let's conjugate. This is 4 plus square root of x minus 9. Same pa din sa denominator, 4 plus square root of x minus 9. Then simplify. So remember, the numerator is 4 squared minus square root of x minus 9. Always remember sa difference of two squares. So this is just the difference of two squares. Then on the denominator we have x minus 25 multiplied by 4 plus square root of x minus 9. In this case, the numerator would be 16 minus the second term is just x. Don't forget to write parenthesis, baka kasi meron ditong negative sa labas, so therefore it is not advisable na isulat mo agad-agad yung ano dito, x minus 9, ganun, na hindi ka maglagay ng parenthesis. Then on the denominator, so kapag i-distribute natin ito isa-isa, so we have 4x plus x square root of x minus 9. Then we have negative 25 times 4, so we have negative 100 minus 25 square root of x minus 9. So don't worry class, dinidistribute ko lang to sa denominator isa-isa. So on the numerator we have 16, so 16 minus x plus 9 na pala. And then here let's rearrange or combine same terms. So we have here 4x. Then in this case we have plus x minus 25. So x minus 25 times square root of x minus 9. Then minus 100. Then our final answer, so 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. So this is 25 minus x all over 4x plus x minus 25 times square root of x minus 9 minus 100. Now you should also again indicate the condition na x should not be equal to 25 because our final answer here is still the same sa ating original na expression na ito. We just modify its form, or we just rationalize the numerator. So as you notice class, kapag na-observe nyo, if we plug in x on our first expression, let's say, or in our original expression, magiging 0 yung denominator niya. So that's why may undefined siya. However, if we do rationalization sa ating numerator, ganito na yung forma niya, which is our answer. 25 minus x all over 4x plus x minus 25 times square root of x minus 9 minus 100. And if we are going to plug in x is equal to 25 on the denominator, yung second term lang class yung mag-0. We still have remaining 4x and minus 100. So therefore, sa ganito na form, o sa ganito na form ng ating expression is hindi na siya mag-0 yung denominator. So therefore, we can now manipulate this equation. So yan yung importante sa pag-rationalize class. Kasi ba-eliminate niya yung mga expressions that will be undefined if you're going to set values sa iyang denominator. So let's proceed to the next topic. So next topic tayo. The next is the rational exponents. So kapag sinasabing rational exponents, ito yung mga expressions class na meron siyang exponents na fraction. So let's say we have a raised to 1 over n, or we have b raised to m over n, or in numeric form we have 3 raised to 1/2, and then we also have 4 raised to 2/3. Now again class, as what I have told you on the first part of our discussion, that the rational exponents and radical expressions are related to each other. Why? Kasi kapag i-convert natin to, so let's say if I have here a raised to m over n, if you're going to convert this into radical expressions, note that our numerator is just the exponent inside the radical sign, and then our denominator, again, it's just the index of our radical sign. Let's say we have here 3 raised to the power of 2/3. So if we're going to convert this into a radical expression, so again class, lagay mo lang yung 3 sa loob, just write a radical symbol, lagay mo si 3. Then since yung numerator natin is 2, so that would serve as our exponent for the radicand. So 3 squared. Then our denominator here, the number 3, is our index. So therefore, cube root pala ito. So this is just simply read as cube root of 3 squared. So ganun lang. Let's say we have here x plus 2 raised to 1/2. So, as you can see, yung denominator natin is 2. So therefore, square root ito. Square root of x plus 2. Since yung numerator natin is only 1, so therefore, x plus 2 lang. Raised to 1, or just simply x plus 2. So ganito lang class, yung rational exponents, mostly yun, or all the time, yung rational exponents natin involves a fraction. So fraction, not integer. Kapag integer lang, so magiging normal exponents lang siya. And then for rational exponents din class, again class, ma-apply mo rin yung mga laws ng ating exponents kasi same lang naman sila yung treatment nila. Na i-add mo lang, so para ka lang nag-add ng fractions. Kapag nag-subtract ka rin, so para ka lang nag-subtract ng fractions. So apply mo lang yung rule from the lessons in our module 1. So kanon. Then, yung pinaka importante dito sa radical at rational exponent is the availability or the ability to convert this. So dapat marunong kayo mag-convert from radical to rational exponents and vice versa. So let's start. How about if you are given this? Let's say we have square root of 32. Kapag i-convert mo to siya into rational exponents, of course, sulat muna si radicand. Anong radicand natin? 32. So, 32. Then, of course, rational exponents should be in fraction form. So, sulat mo fraction. Bar, horizontal bar. Then, ano yung exponent natin sa 32? Wala. 1 lang. So, therefore, that would be our numerator. So, lagay mo 1. How about our index here? So, automatic square root is 2. So, 2. Sulat mo 2. So, therefore, yung conversion pala ng square root of 32 is just equal to 32 raised to 1/2 into a rational exponent. Next. Let's say we have 7 raised to 1/5. So, anong form ito, class? This is in a rational exponent form. So, if we are going to convert this into radical expression, so, just put, again, radical sign, then put the radicand inside. Then, try to look at the numerator. 1. So, isa lang yung exponent natin sa radicand. So, 1 here, invisible. Then, our denominator, 5. So, that would serve as our index. So, therefore, it is read as the 5th root of 7. So, yan lang pag ka-convert ng radical at rational exponents. Next, how about if we're given 1 over square root of 7? Hala, class, paano to? Kasi meron na siyang yung radical mo is andun na sa baba. Actually, you can do a lot of techniques here. So, marami tong technique. It's either you are going to rationalize this, or you can just simply convert this into a rational exponent that has a negative sign. I mean, a negative exponent. So, if your instructor, or if the examination requires you to convert your answer into a positive exponent, so therefore you should make it to a positive exponent. Kasi meron tayong dalawa ditong answer. So, what's the first one? So, let's try. So, itong 1 over square root of 7, you can just bring square root of 7 to the numerator. So, di ba? Again, as what I have told you, kapag meron kang 1 over a cube, kapag i-bring mo siya upward, di ba, magiging negative siya. So, this is a raised to negative 3. The same thing with this, y negative 3. Kapag binigyan ko kayo ng ganito, you just simply bring it down to make it positive. So, 1 over y cube. Ganun lang din yung gagawin natin na square root of 7. I-bring lang natin upward. So, we have here square root of 7. But yung exponent niya is negative 1. Then, remember class, yung negative 1 dito, pwede mo ito insert sa loob. Kasi applying the properties. So, this would be equal to, so, erase muna natin to. Okay, erase muna natin. Then, apply natin yung properties. So, this would be equal to square root of 7 raised to negative 1. And then, to convert this into rational exponent, so, just write 7. And then, ano yung exponent niya? Negative 1. So, sulat mo sa numerator, negative 1 all over. Yung radical sign niya is 2. So, negative 1/2. So, therefore, kapag nag-require yung mo na eliminate yung negative exponent, so you can just write this as 1 over 7 raised to 1/2. Parang binibring down mo lang siya sa ibaba. So, ganito lang mag-convert. Now, the other method is this. You're going to rationalize. Kasi, di ba, we already through with rationalizing expressions. So, pag rationalize nito, again, class, for single term, just write the radical sign with its corresponding index similar to the given. Since squared ito, so squared din gagamitin mo. Then, para yung 7 dito magiging square, what we need to do is just multiply by 7 para magiging 7 squared na siya. So here we have square root of 7 all over 7. Then if we're going to convert this, so just put 1 over 7 times, ito na yung i-convert natin. Kasi we ignore this constant na multiplier, 1 over 7. To convert square root of 7, so you just write 7. Then exponent niya is only 1, so 1 all over. Dito is index niya is 2, so 7 1/2. And don't worry class, itong 1 over 7 raised to 1/2 is just the same. The same lang to as this. 7 raised to 1/2 all over 7. They are both the same. If you plug it in your calculator, they're both the same. Or if you're going to verify this, just use the rule of exponents, wherein 7 raised to 1/2 minus 1. What would be the answer? 7 raised to negative 1/2. So bring it down, it will look like this. Therefore, same na tong dalawang to. Another. So mag-convert tayo ng iba. Let's say if you are given cube root, so cube root of x to the power of 5. So you can just simply convert this as x. Then anong exponent ng x mo? So 5 magiging numerator mo. And our index is 3. So it's over 3. Actually, if you are going to reduce it into lowest term or in simplest form class, pwede pa to siya. Bakit? Kasi kung titingnan mo, yung exponent ng x mo is greater than your index. Kasi 5 to tsaka 3. So, you can just write this as cube root of x cubed times x squared. Since ma-extract pa lang yung x sa labas, so we have x cube root of x squared. So, therefore, kapag i-convert mo to into exponential form, magiging ganito lang yan. X cubed times x raised to 1/2. But both are the same. Kung i-add mo sila, 3 plus 1/2 is equals to 5/3. So both are the same. But this one is only in factored form. X cubed times x raised to 1/2. And this one is the simplified form. X raised to 5/3. Ganun lang. Then the last example. So last example natin class for this. Let's say we have 8 over 27 raised to the power of negative 2/3. Now we are going to convert this into a radical expression. So here, meron tayong 8 over 27. So lagay mo natin yung radical sign. Then of course, sulat mo yung expression inside the parenthesis. So 8 over 27. Then ano yung numerator natin? 2. So class, kapag negative ito class, hindi mo siya ilagay dapat sa index ha. Dapat yung negative i-carry over mo siya sa exponent. Hindi pwede sa index kasi walang negative index sa math. Only positive like square root, cube root. Kasi wala namang nagsasabi na negative square root of ganun. So just carry it over to your exponent. So you have negative 2 here, then cube root. So simple as that. Or you can simplify this. Kasi yung 8 magiging 2 cubed, 27 magiging 3 cubed din. So therefore, meron siyang maka-cancel out. But for this purpose, nagko-convert lang naman tayo ng kanyang form. So therefore, this would be our answer for our conversion. Now, let's simplify rational exponents. Actually, in this lesson, parang this is just a review on your exponents, yung pag-evaluate ng exponents. But in this case, yung exponent natin dito is rational lang. So meaning may fraction. So let's try. Mag-simplify tayo ng rational exponents. And in simplifying rational exponents class, don't forget that as much as possible, you should eliminate or avoid negative exponents. So, ganun lang class, negative exponents. Kasi di ba from our module 1, module 2 pala, sa ating exponential form or ating exponential expression, di ba, nag-eliminate lang tayo ng mga negative exponents, then simplify. So, ganito din yung gagawin natin sa rational exponents. Let's say we have here a given example, negative 64 all over 125 raised to the power of negative 2/3. Negative 2/3. Since meron tong negative, ito yung target natin na eliminate. But before that, again class, work first inside the parentheses. So, i-work natin. Para may ma-cancel out tayo, be sure to convert your number into a factor of prime numbers. For 64, ano ba yung 64? This is 8 times 8, which is equal to 64. And we all know that 8 is 2 cubed. So, we have negative 2 cubed times 2 cubed kasi 8 times 8, 64. How about 125? Actually, 125 is 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So, therefore, that is 5 cubed raised to negative 2/3. Since walang kapareho, 2 ito, tsaka 5, so, i-distribute na lang natin yung exponent isa-isa dito. Kasi, di ba, recall the law of exponent na kapag meron kang two numbers or expressions that is divided by each other, distribute the exponent on the numerator as well as on the denominator. So, we have here negative times 2 cubed raised to negative 2/3. Then 2 cubed raised to negative 2/3. All over 5 cubed raised to negative 2/3. Since 3 times negative 2/3, maka-cancel yung 3. What's left is negative 2 raised to negative 2. The same thing with the second, negative 2 raised to negative 2. 5 also is 5 raised to negative 2. Since may mga negative exponents sa numerator, ibaba natin yung dalawa sa denominator. Sa denominator din, ang negative siya, itaas natin ito. So, therefore, our answer is 5 squared, negative pala kasi may negative. Negative 5 squared all over 2 squared times 2 squared. And ano yung 5 squared? That is 25. So, negative 25 all over 2 times 2, 4. So, parang 4 times 4 is equal to 16. So, ito yung exact answer natin. Negative 25 all over 16 in fraction form. So, in this case, na-eliminate na natin yung negative exponents. Negative rational exponents. So, let's try example number 2. So, erase muna natin to. Next example. How about we are given x squared y. So, we have x squared y raised to 1/3 times xy squared raised to 2/3 all over x raised to 2/3 times y raised to 2/3. Here, class, we don't have negative rational exponents. So, okay siya. However, this expression is not yet on its simplified form or its simplest form. Kasi kapag sinasabing simplest form, in this case, dapat yung numerator mo at denominator mo first is wala siyang, yung denominator lang kapag nag-rationalize ka, dapat wala siyang radical symbol. For rational exponents, dapat wala kang mga negative exponents. And then, of course, simplify mo yung mga common, yung mga operations, para simplest form na talaga siya. So, in this case, distribute natin yung exponents dito isa-isa for x and y. So, we have here x raised to 2/3. Kasi 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. Then, y raised to 1/3. Here, then, x times 2/3 is, 1 times 2/3 is 2/3. Then, y is 2 times 2/3 is equals to 4/3. 4/3 all over x raised to 2/3 y raised to 2/3. So here, i-combine mo lahat ng x, or i-combine mo yung exponent ng x saka sa y. So x would be equal to 2/3 plus 2/3 is equals to 4/3. How about for y? Y is 1/3 plus 4/3 is equals to 5/3. So 5/3 of y raised to 5/3 all over x raised to 2/3 y raised to 2/3. And then here, in dividing exponents, so just subtract, or in dividing exponential expression, just subtract the exponent. So we have here x raised to 4/3 minus 2/3, then y raised to 5/3 minus 2/3. So what's left? We have 4/3 minus 2/3 is 2/3. So we have x raised to 2/3, y raised to 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 over 3 is equals to 1. So let's say 3 over 3. So that's equal to x raised to 2/3 y. So ito lang pala yung final answer natin, or this is our simplified form eliminating the negative rational exponent. So x raised to 2/3 y raised to 1. Another example. Let's say we are given 16. So we have here 16x squared y raised to negative 1/3 multiplied by, or raised to the power of 3/4 divided by x y squared raised to 1/4. So ayan. Here, it would be better if we distribute na lang dito. Then, divide na lang or subtract their exponents afterwards. So, distribute mo din to sa 16. So, here, 16 can be written as 2 raised to the power of 4. Kasi 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8 times 2, 16. So, we have here 2 to the 4th raised to 3/4. Yung x natin, x squared raised to 3/4. Then, y raised to 1/3, negative 1/3, raised to 3/4. All over, dito din yung 1/4, distribute mo din sa loob. So, we have x raised to 1/4, y squared raised to 1/4. Then, simplify further. So, i-multiply natin yung exponent ng 2. 4 times 3/4, makancel yung 4. So, we only have 2 cubed. Then, yung x squared, 2 times 3/4, simplify yung 2, magiging 2 lang nito. So, we only have x raised to 3 halves. Kasi 2 divided by 4 is 1/2. So, 1/2 times 3 is 3 halves. Then, y, 1/3 times 3/4, makancel yung 3. Both numerator and denominator, we only have y raised to negative 1/4. All over sa baba, we have x raised to 1/4. Y, 2 times 1/4 is 1/2. So, y raised to 1/2. And here, class, since we're going to eliminate negative exponents, so yung y dito sa taas, i-bring down natin sa ibaba. So, we have 2 cubed. X raised to, yung x na lang natin, class, i-divide na lang natin. So, kapag nag-divide tayo na sa x, just subtract their exponents. So, we have x 3 halves minus 1/4. All over yung y natin, magkatabi na sila, y raised to 1/4 times y raised to 1/2. And if you're going to subtract 3 halves minus 1/4, so finding for LCD, or just use your calculator, 3 halves minus 1/4, we have 5 over 4. So, 2 cubed, class, is 8. Just 8 na lang. Then, x raised to 5 over 4. All over, itong y 1/4, y 1/2 can be written as y 1/4 plus 1/2. So, ano yung 1/4 plus 1/2? Of course, that is 3/4. So, y raised to 3/4. So, this would be our final answer, class. So, na-eliminate na natin yung negative exponents, and then we simplify the expression in its simplest form na wala na talaga mga common, wala na ding radical exponents, wala na ding radical symbols, but actually if we're going to convert this into radical expressions, madami tong radical expressions, but for this example lang, or for this topic, is that our goal is to eliminate the negative rational exponents and to simplify the expression. Sin lang. Then we have our final example for this. So yun lang ha, parang sa exponent lang na part. So we have here 4 times x raised to negative 1, then y raised to 1/3, multiplied or raised to the power of 3 halves, all over xy raised to 3 halves. Again, it would be better if you're going to distribute the exponents for each terms or numbers right here, or each variable. So 4 can be written as 2 squared raised to the power of 3 halves. So ma-advise ko sa iyo, class, kapag may constant or may number na nag-appear either in the numerator or in the denominator, it would be very better, or it is preferable na imo siya i-convert into a factor of 2 or more prime numbers. So we have here 2 squared raised to the power of 3 halves times x raised to the power of 1 multiplied or raised to 3 halves kasi distribute. Then we have y raised to 1/3 raised to 3 halves all over x. So i-distribute natin din sa denominator. So x raised to 3 halves, y raised to 3 halves. So on the constant we have 2, then its exponent is 2 and 3 halves. So multiply this one. 2 times 3 halves is just equal to 3 kasi makancel out yung 2. So we have here 2 cubed. How about x raised to negative 1 raised to positive 3 halves? Multiply lang. Negative 1 times 3 halves is negative 3 halves. So we have x raised to negative 3 halves. To 3 halves. Then y raised to 1/3 times 3 halves is 1/2. All over x raised to 3 halves, y raised to 3 halves. Then, since meron tayong negative dito, may bring down mo yung x sa ibaba. So we now have 2 cubed is 8. Then yung y na lang natin, we just divide them. So kapag nag-divide tayo, i-subtract yung exponent. So we have y raised to 1/2 minus 3 halves all over, since yung x na negative sa numerator is na bibring down na sa denominator, so let's perform multiplication. So kapag nag-multiply tayo, just add their exponents. So 3 halves plus 3 halves. 3 halves plus 3 halves equals 6/2 or 3. So we have equal to 8. Then 1/2 minus 3 halves. So 1/2 minus 3 halves is equals to 1. So 8, but it is negative kasi mas malaki yung 3 halves. So 8y raised to negative 1 all over x cube. Diba? Then, since may negative naman tayo dito, negative exponent, so therefore, bring it down. Bring it to the denominator. So what's left on the numerator is the constant 8 all over x cube times y. So this would be its simplest form. So class, are you still with me? Na-gets ra class? Na-gets pa? Okay, so let's jump with the next. Now in a rational exponents side ng mga expressions, we also have this form. Let's say we have irrational exponents as a single quotient. Kasi kapag nag-add na tayo ng mga rational, or nag-add na tayo ng mga algebraic expressions that has rational exponents, we just want it to simplify as a single quotient, wherein we have the numerator, the expression on the numerator, and the expression, a single expression on the denominator. So ito yung target natin. So how are we going to do that if we are given a complex rational complex algebraic expressions containing rational exponents. So in order to understand that, in order to visualize, so let's have an example. Let's say you are given this expression 2x times x squared plus 1 raised to the power of 1/2 plus x squared times 1/2 then multiplied by x squared plus 1 raised to the power of negative 1/2 times 2x. So in this case, class, it would be better kung i-factor out muna yung mga common nila. So i-factor out mo yung common nila. So ano yung common nila? We have 2x here kasi diba sa first term, so this is our first term. So ito kapag nag-convert ka ng algebraic expression that contains rational exponents into a single quotient, mas preferred na ipa-factor mo siya muna in this form. Sa ganito na mga sitwasyon, mas better na ipa-factor out muna para ma-simplify mo siya further. So here, the common term for the first and the second is 2x. Add x squared plus 1 with an exponent of 1/2. Kasi kapag 1/2, kapag ma-factor out mo yung 1/2, so mas malaki siya. Kasi diba, kapag i-factor mo yung negative 1/2 pala, magiging 0 na. So in this case, 1/2 na lang muna i-factor out natin. So we have here 2x. Then what's left? Hindi lang 2x yung i-factor out natin, pati din yung x squared plus 1 raised to 1/2. So we have here 2x times x squared plus 1 raised to 1/2. So ano yung matitira sa first term? Wala na, 1 na lang kasi pinafactor out na yung dalawa. How about in the second term? We don't have 2x anymore kasi na-factor out na siya. What's left is x squared over 2 kasi x squared times 1/2 is x squared over 2. So we have x squared over 2. How about this x squared plus 1 raised to negative 1/2? Since nag-factor out tayo, the operation is multiplication, subtraction. So we have negative 1/2 minus 1/2 is equal to negative 1. So negative 1 na kasi negative 1/2 minus 1/2 is negative 1. Kasi diba yung rule pag nag-factor out tayo is division. Then sa division is subtraction of exponents. So we have x squared plus 1 raised to negative 1. Then since i-convert daw natin into a single quotient, wherein ito lang, meron ka lang numerator all over denominator. Like isang expression lang talaga. So therefore, let's manipulate the expressions inside this brace. So we have here 1 plus x squared. Since negative exponent ito, i-bring down natin sa denominator. So we now have 2 times x squared plus 1. And then, you write here 2x times x squared plus 1 raised to 1/2. Here, we combine, so we add 1 plus x squared. So we have an LCD of 2x squared plus 1. So 2x squared plus 1 divided by 1 kasi may 1 ito times 1. So we have in the numerator 2 times x squared plus 1 plus x squared. So ganon. Multiplied by 2x times x squared plus 1 raised to 1/2. Then, again, follow PEMDAS rule. So unahin muna natin yung nasa loob ng brace. So distribute. We have here 2x squared plus 2 plus x squared all over 2 times x squared plus 1. So in this case, sulat natin ulit 2x times x squared plus 1 raised to 1/2. So in this case, yung kasunod is 2x squared plus x squared, magiging 3x squared na siya. So we have here 3x squared plus 2 all over 2 times x squared plus 1. Since, okay, so that natin 2x times x squared plus 1 raised to 1 half. So, since meron tayong 2 dito, tsaka sa denominator mayroong 2, so makancel out ito. Makancel out. Then, since we have here x squared plus 1, same sila ng base. Yung exponent lang dito sa numerator is 1 half, then dito sa kabila is 1. So, therefore, we can say that this is equal to x times 3x squared plus 2. So, inuuna ko muna yung hindi kasali, ito, tsaka ito sa loob. Then, yung x squared dito is just equal to x squared plus 1, then 1 half minus 1. Kasi diba, yung exponent sa numerator is 1 half, then sa denominator may ito invisible 1. So, minus 1 kasi division. Now, this would be equal to x raised to 3x squared plus 2 times x squared plus 1 raised to 1 half minus 1 is equal to negative 1 half. So, we have negative 1 half. And since may negative tayo, we must bring it to the denominator. So, mag-erase muna tayo kasi walang tayong space. Or, okay, i-scroll out ko na lang. Okay, here. Since negative ito, class this last part. Since this is negative, therefore, we need to bring it down to the denominator. So, the final answer would be x times 3x squared plus 2 all over x squared plus 1 raised to 1 half. So, therefore, na-eliminate natin yung negative rational exponents, and then the expression is already a single quotient wherein we have numerator and the denominator. So, ganun lang class pag-convert ng expression that has rational exponents as a single quotient. So, ganun. Ganito yung style niya. So, let's try another example. So, try tayo ng another example. So, we have here a given example. We have square root of 1 plus x minus x all over 2 square root of 1 plus x all over 1 plus x. Actually, this is in a radical form, but you can rewrite this into a rational exponent, but it's up to you. For me, let's take na lang sa radical na mga signs, such that, of course, x should be greater than negative 1. Kasi kapag negative 1 yan, mas 0, so ma-undefined na naman to. Kaya nga, nilagyan dito ng condition. So, here, express again as a single unit or as a single quotient that has only one expression or one number on the numerator, or one expression or one number on the denominator, but in its simplest form. So, simplest form class wala tayong negative rational exponent. So, here, since yung complicated dito na forma is the numerator, actually, we can call this expression as a complex rational expression, but we're going to tackle that one on the second lesson. So, on lesson number 2. So, dito, since medyo critical yung forma sa numerator, so yun yung unahin natin. So, let's just combine the fraction. So, in combining fractions, find the LCD. So, 2 squared of 1 plus x LCD natin. Then, this one divide by the fraction here, the denominator here. Since the denominator dito is just 1 lang, so 2 squared of 1 plus x divided by 1 multiplied by the numerator. So, we now have 2 square root of 1 plus x squared. Kasi diba, dalawang 1 plus x, so squared. Minus, ito, 2 squared of 1 plus x divided by 2 squared of 1 plus x, just 1. So, times x is x. Then, all over 1 plus x. Next, so ano yung kasunod niya? Just simplify. So, since yung exponent tsaka yung index natin are the same, so magiging 1 plus x na lang ito. So, the numerator would be 2 times 1 plus x minus x all over 2 squared of x plus 1 all over 1 plus x. So, simplify natin further. Distribute. So, distribute 2 here on the parenthesis. So we have 2 plus 2x minus x all over 2 square root of x plus 1 all over 1 plus x. Ito yung malaking all over. Then 2x minus x is equal to x na lang. So x plus 2 all over 2 square root of x plus 1 all over 1 plus x. Then to divide fractions, just reciprocate this. So take the reciprocal of the divisor. Since ito yung divisor, reciprocal of this, and then proceed to multiplication. So here we have x plus 2 all over 2 square root of x plus 1. Reciprocal of 1 plus x is equal to 1 all over 1 plus x. Then proceed to multiplication. So multiply numerator x plus 2 all over denominator. So we have 2 times x plus 1 multiplied by square root of x plus 1. Now, yung x plus 1 tsaka square root of x plus 1 can be ano pa yan sila? Can be combined if you are going to express your answer into irrational exponent. But if radical lang muna, you can have this. But again, class, take note, medyo strict. Yung ibang direction, class, is medyo strict kasi yung iba is you're going to require this to rationalize. Kapag i-rationalize mo to, class, so let's say lang ha, i-rationalize yung answer mo. Therefore, meron ka pang radical sign sa ibaba, i-eliminate. So to eliminate this, just simply multiply the radical sign with same index. Then, try to look at this. Since exponent ng x plus 1 is only 1, so multiply another x plus 1 para yung exponent niya magiging equal na sa index. So we have here x plus 1 all over square root of x plus 1. So here on the numerator, we have x plus 2 multiplied by the square root of x plus 1. Then all over 2 times x plus 1. So since square root of x plus 1 times square root of x plus 1 magiging square root of x plus 1 squared. So same na sila, maka-cancel out na ito. Therefore magiging x plus 1 na lang. So what's left? So i-erase muna natin dito. Sorry, magamitin natin itong isa para mabilis yung pag-erase. So if we're going to erase, if we're going to simplify this further, so we have here x plus 2. So don't forget to write parenthesis, class, para hindi ma-mislead. Kasi kapag hindi mo nilagyan ng parenthesis, parang yung 2 lang yung nakamultiply sa radical sign. So we now have here 2 times x plus 1 times x plus 1. So here, we have x plus 2 times square root of x plus 1 all over 2 times x plus 1 squared. So this would be the rationalized answer. Rationalized pa siya, tapos na-eliminate pa yung negative sign. Negative rational exponents. If not required yung pag-rationalize, class, therefore this would now be our answer, class. Ito na. Kapag required na i-rationalize, ito yung final answer. So see the difference, class. Take note with that one. So we now have our third example. Let's say you are given this type of problem. So ito, we have we have x squared plus 4 then raised to 1/2 minus x squared times x squared plus 4 raised to negative 1/2. So yung isa dito 1/2, dito negative 1/2 all over x squared plus 4. So in this case, i-eliminate muna natin yung negative exponents. So this one pala is we need to bring it down to the denominator, but not here, hindi dito sa denominator na ito. Bakit? Kasi meron siyang subtraction operation. That's why i-reciprocal na lang natin ito. So let's reciprocate this. So x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2 minus x squared all over x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2. So, nagiging positive na siya kasi binibring down natin siya sa ibaba. But not dito sa x squared plus 4 kasi iba na siya. So, we have here x squared plus 4. Then, combine. So, i-combine natin. I-combine yung fractions sa numerator. So, we have an LCD of x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2. So, divide yung denominator, which is 1. So, still x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2. Then, multiplied by the numerator, which is ito, x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2. So, 1/2 plus 1/2 is equals to 1. Therefore, magiging x squared na lang to, x squared plus 4. So, again, class, kasi x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2 times x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2, i-add lang yung exponent nila, 1/2 plus 1/2 kasi same sila ng base. The answer is 1. So, therefore, magiging x squared plus 4 na lang ito. Then, minus ito, since the same lang yung denominator nila, therefore, equal to 1. Then, 1 times x squared is equal to x squared. All over x squared plus 4. Then, the next one, since meron tayong x squared dito, minus x squared daw, so makancel out na ito. What's left on the numerator part is 4 na lang. 4 all over x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2. All over x squared plus 4. Here, class, find the reciprocal of x squared plus 4, then proceed to multiplication. So, we have 4 all over x squared plus 4 raised to 1/2 multiplied by 1 over x squared plus 4 kasi yan yung reciprocal niya. Then, proceed to multiplication. So, 4 times 1 is 4 all over, since pareho sila ng base, x squared plus 4 and x squared plus 4, just add their exponents. So, 1/2 plus 1 is equals to 3/2. So, we have 4 all over x plus 4 raised to 3/2. So, ganun lang, class. Ito lang yung final answer natin. So, do you have question, class, so far? May question? Naka-follow ra? So, class, do you have a question? How about the others? Okay pa? Okay. Sige. Okay, let's continue. So, ingon na ra pag simplify sa mga expressions that has rational exponents into a single quotient, wherein you have an expression sa numerator, napog kay expression sa denominator. Again, class, don't forget to eliminate the negative rational exponents. So, yun lang. Then, simplify mo lang. Kung may ma-factor, may ma-cancel out sa numerator at saka sa denominator, gawin mo yun. Ganun lang. Ganun lang yung mga tips, class. And then, the last topic for lesson 1, module 3 is factoring rational exponents. Kasi, di ba, meron din tayong factoring sa polynomial expressions natin. Of course, sa expression that involves rational exponents, we can still apply factoring. In this case, medyo wala na siyang mga rules kasi complicated yung exponents natin more on fractions. So, what we can do here is just factor out the common. So, factor out the common. Then, wala tayong mga sum and difference, wala tayong mga cube kasi applied lang yun sa mga exponents that are integers. Dito kasi exponents natin are fractions. So, in order to understand this, let's have an example. Let's say my first term is x plus 1 raised to 3/2. So, para, class, yung mga tinuturo ko dito ng mga examples is magagamit nyo to na basis para maka-answer kayo sa assessments for module 3. Kasi, dito, ako na siya gi-prepare para na mo'y idea on sa pag-solve sa mga assessments adto. But you can double check sa mga examples then that are given on your module 3 katong PDF nga ako gi-send, so you can still browse or read that one for further details. So on the second term we have x times 3 halves, then multiplied by x plus 1 raised to the power of 1 half, then such that our x should be greater than or equal to negative 1. So this is just a condition, class. Don't worry. Just factor this. Wag mo tong anuhin yung x greater than or equal to negative 1 half. So para hindi rin para hindi hanging sa iba, bakit nilagyan ito ng x greater than or equal to negative 1? Bakit? Kasi dito, class, meron tayong radical expressions dito. And where is it, sir? This one, x plus 1 raised to 1 half and x plus 1 raised to 3 halves. Because if we're going to convert this, it will look in this way. Square root of x plus 1. And take note, class, we need to avoid the square root of negative 1 or any negative number because it will result to an imaginary number. Kasi diba kapag add dapat yung x mo dito must be greater than or equal to negative 1. Why? We need to equate this radicand into negative 1. So let's say x plus 1, not equate, we need to make it greater than or equal to 0 pala. Okay, greater than or equal to negative 1. So yung answer niya, let's say I put here negative 1. Kasi kapag yung I think greater than lang, greater than lang pala, class, kasi mag-equal din ng negative 1, hindi rin pwede. So greater than lang talaga. Dapat yung answer sa loob must be greater than 1. So to do this, okay, transpose lang yung negative 1 dito. So x is greater than negative 1 minus 2. Minus 1. So x pala should be greater than negative 2. So here in this book, sa book, sabi dito x greater than equal to negative 1. But actually, yung domain niya, so mababasa tayo sa domain. X should be greater than negative 2. Kasi kapag mag negative 2 siya, so tingnan natin. Negative 2 plus 1. Of course, magiging answer is negative 1. And square root of negative 1, so undefined siya. Magiging imaginary number siya, hindi na siya real number. So, kapag less than negative 2, less than negative 2, let's say negative 3. So, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So, hindi pa rin pwede imaginary. So, therefore, you should have a value of your x or your domain greater than negative 2. So, what are these? We have negative 1. Kasi yung negative 1 plus 1, 0. And the square root of 0 has a real number, which is 0. 0 real number. So, therefore pala, yung domain tayo. So, ito yung condition. Domain natin must be x greater than negative 2. So, balik na tayo. Unless, class, this is just to prove you kung ano yung condition na dapat natin i-avoid sa ating expression. But anyways, the goal here is to factor out expressions involving rational exponents. So in order to factor this out, first things first, class, again, factor the common. So makikita mo, sa first term, meron bang number or mga constant? Wala. Second term, meron. So therefore, we cannot factor out the constants kasi walang constant yung isa. Then, next, proceed to variable. Actually, meron tayo ditong variable or expressions. We have here expression x plus 1 and also x plus 1 in the second term. How about for x? We only have x on the second term but we don't have x on the first term. Therefore, we cannot factor out x. What we can do in this case is just factor out this term x plus 1. So, i-factor out na natin. Yun lang common kasi nila, x plus 1. Then, which one? So, which one of them are we going to choose? Unsa nga exponent. Is it 3 halves or 1 half? So again class, kapag nag-factor out ka ng mga expressions, always choose the least exponent. So hindi yung 3 halves. Dito ka mag-select sa 1 half. So try mo 1 half. So yun yung parang class. Standard pag mag-factor. Why? Because let's say if you have here 8 and 12, or 8 and 16 lang, di ba 8 can be 16 can be a factor of 8 times 2. So therefore, yung kukunin mo talaga is yung 8 kasi 8 yung common. Or let's say we have, ilis muna natin ha. Let's say we have 2 squared times 2 cubed. So here they have the same base 2. So we can factor out 2. But to factor this one out, syempre imo piliyon ang gamay. So 2 squared ang imo piliyon. Kaya nga naman, if we are going to choose 2 cube, kung 2 cube magiging fraction na ito. Magiging 1 half na ito para 2 squared siya. So, it's not like that. Kapag mag-factoring ka, eliminate mo yung fraction kapag nag-factor out. Therefore, i-select mo talaga yung mga exponent that is lesser than the rest. So, yan yung pipiliin mo na exponent that is lesser in value than the rest of the terms. So, here, yung mag-satisfy sa ating condition is this x plus 1 is to 1 half kasi siya yung maliit. So, to factor out this one, again class, divide lang yung yung exponent nila. Since pinafactor out natin yung x plus 1, so 3 halves minus 1 half na. Kasi 'di ba, yung reverse ng factoring o kapag nag-extract tayo, yung operation is division. So kapag operation natin is division, meaning, so meron na si Brian Alyuso. Meaning, the operation is subtraction kapag division. So isa-subtract natin. 3 halves minus 1 half is equals to 1. So therefore, what's left on the first term is x plus 1. How about the second term? Wala na. Kasi pinafactor out natin yung entire 1 half. So what's left is 3 halves x. Then we can simplify the expression inside this brace. Ito. So we have x plus 3 halves x is 1 plus 3 halves is, 2.5 or 5 halves. So therefore, we have 5 halves x plus 1. So, parenthesis na ito. Multiplied by x plus 1 raised to 1 half. Therefore, ito na yung factor niya. Kasi di ba class, yung factor is a product of two terms. So, we have first term, x plus 1 is to 1 half. 2 or more terms class. And then, the second term is 5 half x plus 1. So, ito na yung factored form ng ating expression involving rational exponents. Let's try a second example. So, here we have 3x. So, we have 3x raised to negative 1 half. Then, we have plus 3 halves multiplied by x raised to the power of 1 half, such that x must be greater than 0 to comply these expressions. Now here, again class, factor out the common. Let's try with the constant or the numbers. We have 3 and 3 halves. So, I guess now, meron na tayong common sa ating numbers, which is 3. So, ma-extract na natin yung 3. So, lagay natin 3. How about for the variable x? Of course, meron silang common. We have x raised to negative 1 half. And which is bigger, negative 1 half or 1 half? Of course, yung malaki is 1 half. So, therefore, i-take natin yung smaller. So, yung x, negative 1 half. So, i-take out yung x, negative 1 half. So, you have 3x raised to negative 1 half. Ano yung natitira sa first term? Wala. Wala na. Kasi 3 divided by 3, 1. X raised to negative 1 half, kinuha. So, 1 na lang. 1. Plus, dito sa second, 1 half na lang yung natira kasi ini-extract yung 3. How about for x raised to 1 half? So, 1 half minus negative 1 half. So, 0.5 minus negative 0.5 is equals to 1. So we now have x na lang. So x. So therefore, this would be our factored form. Kasi this is a product of two expressions. The monomial 3x raised to negative 1 half and the other binomial 1 plus 1 half x. So ganun lang class yung pag-factor out natin. Now last, let's have the last example for this topic on factoring rational exponents. Let's say we are given this long term. Let's say we have 6 times 6x plus 1 raised to 1/3 times 4x minus 3 raised to 3 halves, then plus 6 times 6x plus 1 raised to 4/3 times 4x minus 3 raised to 1 half, such that x should be greater than or equal to 3/4. So here, meron tayong dalawang terms. So kailangan sa pag-factoring ng mga rational exponents, i-identify muna yung mga terms. Saan yung mga boundary ng mga terms mo. So this is our first term. This is our second term para hindi ka malito. So from the two terms, i-observe mo or titingnan mo kung ano yung mga common. So let's start with the number or the constant. Since on the first term we have 6 here, same with the second term we have 6, therefore we can factor out 6. So lagay natin ito yung 6. Then both terms has an expression of 6x plus 1 but of different exponent. So unsa nga exponent ang atong i-choose sa gali class? Again, choose the exponent that has a least value. So the exponent that has a least value is 6x plus 1 raised to 1/3. Another one, ano pa yung factor out natin aside from 6x plus 1? So as you've noticed, we also have a common expression for both terms. We have 4x minus 3. And by looking at the exponent, the least value is 1 half. So therefore, choose 1 half. So we have 4x minus 3 raised to 1 half. So again class, kapag mo factor out ka, choose mo yung term or expression that has the least value of exponent. So yung exponent. So now, i-evaluate mo. Sa first term, kinuha natin ng 6. Wala na 6. Sa 6x plus 1, kinuha natin si 1/3. So wala na din titira. For 4x minus 3, kinuha yung 1 half. So kapag nag-factor out tayo, the operation is again division. So we just subtract the exponent. So 3 halves minus 1 half is equals to 1. So therefore, yung natitira sa loob is just 4x minus 3. How about the second term? We factor out 6. So na-factor out na. How about 6x plus 1? Fina-factor out lang natin yung 1/3. Since 4/3 ito, so we subtract kasi division operation. 4/3 minus 1/3, we only have 3/3. Or this is equal to 1. So we only have plus 6x plus 1. How about 4x minus 3? Since yung pinafactor out natin is 1 half, which is the same 1 half, so therefore, makancel na siya, or what's left is only 1. So here, we can still simplify the inside expression of the braces, of this brace pala. So we have 4x plus 6x is equals to 10x. Negative 3 plus 1 is equals to a negative 2. And then write 6 times 6x plus 1 raised to 1/3 times 4x minus 3 raised to 1 half. As you've noticed class, is this the final answer? Actually, no. Bakit? Kasi yung 10x minus 2, we can still have a common factor here. Kasi 10 can be written as 5 times 2. So therefore, ma-extract pa yung 2 natin. So extract natin sa labas, we have 2 times 6 times 6x plus 1 raised to 1/3 times 4x minus 3 raised to 1 half. What's left inside this brace is 5x minus 1. So to finalize our answer, this is equal to 6 times 2 is 12 times 6x plus 1 raised to 1/3 multiplied by the other 4x minus 3 raised to 1/2 times 5x minus 1. So this would be our final answer in factoring this kind of this kind of expression involving rational exponents. So class, do you have a question? So far my question. Hello, na may question class? Question? Wala? Nakasabot ra tanan? Okay, nakasabot ra? Okay. How about the others? Na may pangutana about lesson 1? So kung wala, let's take a 1-minute break first. So this is 11:23. So break muna tayo, then let's proceed to lesson 2. So okay na class? Don't worry, for module 3, we only have 2 lessons. So after ani, isang lesson, then end na yung module 3. So okay na class? Okay, 1 minute break muna.